Good morning, everyone. Boker Tov. This week's Torah portion begins with the verse, and the lifespan of Sarah was 127 years. Sarah passes away at the age of 127. And then the concluding words of the verse is, Shnei Chayei Sarah. These were the years of Sarah's life. And the rabbis ask, the verse is repetitive. It begins by saying, these were the years of Sarah's life. She died at the age of 127, and then it repeats at the end of the verse, these were the years of Sarah's life. And our rabbis quote the sages who say that the verse is teaching us, Kulam Shavim L'Tova. What the Torah is telling us is that all the years of her life were equally good. But the question is, we've just read the story of Sarah's life. She went through many trials and tribulations, and challenges and struggles and hardships. She couldn't have a child till the age of 90. She had difficulties with her maidservant Hagar. She had to send her out of the house when she was being disrespected by Hagar. They had to travel Lech Lecha on a journey to the land of Israel. They experienced famine. She was even abducted by Pharaoh and by Avimelech. So how can you say all the years of her life were equally good? And the explanation, of course, is that the verse doesn't say, and the rabbis don't teach us, that all the days of her life were equally comfortable, easy, pleasurable, stress-free, challenge-free. What the verse says is they were equally good. What the verse is saying, that despite all the ups and downs and the challenges she faced in her life, she always remained good. She always remained righteous. And the powerful lesson of this is that, in our society, everyone wants to live longer. That's normal. It's natural. Longevity. There's so many different products and drugs and medical research and procedures to lengthen our lives. Everybody wants longevity. And billions of dollars are spent each year on figuring out how to extend the lives of human beings. And if a person, God forbid, is faced with a situation where they have an option to extend their life under a medical situation, they'll spend all their money. They'll give anything to get more years to their life. But the Torah is telling us is that while longevity is important, equally important is the quality of our life. Whether we're living a life of meaning, of purpose, of fulfillment, if we're having a positive impact on others, if we're contributing, that is equally important. Not just the quantity of our lives, the number of years, but the quality of our lives. What meaning does it have to live a longer physical life if the life is empty and has no purpose to it? David Brooks, the famous writer, talks about two different types of eulogies. He says there is a job, he says two different types of resumes. There's a job resume and a eulogy resume. He says your job resume is your credentials, your accomplishments, your education, your successes in business or in work, in your profession. He said, but the eulogy resume is what it said about you at the end of your life, the conclusion, your character, your relationships, how loving, how kind, how generous of a person you were. No one talks at a eulogy about how much money someone made or how expensive their car was or their home. They talk about their character, their good name, their good deeds, their love and kindness and generosity, the type of family they had, the type of marriage they had. That's what matters when it comes to the eulogy resume. Instead of spending so much time on our job resumes, we should think about what really matters. Last week in Amsterdam, when there was a pogrom at the soccer match where Israelis were chased and beaten by Arab sympathizers and supporters of terrorists, there was a woman who woke up in the morning and read what was going on. So she immediately drove to the center of town to volunteer to help the Israelis. Started driving people to her home who needed a place to stay, and then volunteered to drive people to the airport who needed to catch a flight. Israel sent 2 planes to airlift people back to Israel. And she was running back and forth, volunteering, bringing food, taking care of the people. when suddenly she gets a call. She had an appointment for a job interview, for a very important job at 11 o'clock. And they called from the office and they said, it's 11:10, you're not here. You have an appointment for a job interview. And she said, I'm so sorry, but you know what happened last night? The Jews were attacked in the streets of Amsterdam, and I'm helping out with helping people who need a place to eat and a place to sleep and then get to the airport. Maybe I could reschedule. And the woman said, you know, ma'am, there are many people who are being interviewed for this job. This may cost you your job, the fact that you didn't show up. And she said, I'm sorry, I know that, but this is more important. This is an emergency. I have to help my people under these circumstances. A few hours later, the woman got a call back from the secretary of this boss, and she said, I'm calling to let you know that you got the job. The woman said, what do you mean I got the job? I didn't even interview for it yet. She said, I know, but when I went and told my boss that you didn't show up because you had to go help the Jewish community, help out with people who were scared and being threatened by Arab protesters, he said, any woman who's willing to give up her job to help her community, has that commitment, dedication, and loyalty to her people. Even though I'm not Jewish, I must have her come work for me. I need this type of a person to work for me. That's what Sarah teaches us. It's about our deeds that we accomplish in this world, not just the number of years. As someone once said, what matters most is not the years in your life, but the life in your years. Have a wonderful day.